Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I sipped too close to the beginning. Welcome back to Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, the podcast where two dudes, that's us, watch cartoons. My name is Evan.
My name is Alex, and today we have a special guest, second time on the pod. We don't have many repeats except for five-time Tommy. Dylan Dunn, welcome back. How are you doing today, Dylan?
It's bad to kill, but it's not bad to die.
Whoa, okay. Trying to make me cry right out of the gate.
What's up? I heard, I checked in with Spotify. They said the fans were clamoring for more Dill, so
Yeah.
I figured it'd only be right to come back on.
Listenership has been down since Encanto Pod.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So we're glad to have you here. Thank you for coming. While we technically brought the subject material to you, the only reason we did so is because you are a long-time fan of this movie. Walk us through what your history with this movie. What did you see it in 1999? Are you that old?
Oh, wow. Rip, dude. Before we jump in, I just want to take a quick sec. I just want to say I'm proud of you guys. I'm happy for all the success. I know, Alex, things have been jumping off the streams. As long as they keep making all these dumbass TV shows, Alex is going to have work. That's for sure.
That's right.
Evan, I know you got some stuff published recently. You got big, exciting art project coming up. So I just want to say, shout out you guys, man. I've been on a rocket ship since I was last on.
We are literally the two dichotomies of like art. Evan's like literally doing drawings and like cartoons, and I'm like covering reality TV, the trashiest form. So thank
And with
you.
our powers combined, we're here making the greatest podcast of all time. Two Dudes Watch Cartoons.
We haven't even said what we're covering today, but we're covering Dylan's favorite movie of all time. I don't know if that's true. The Iron Giant, or is it just Iron Giant? I think it's Iron Giant.
The Iron Giant?
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
The makes a difference. You can ask Facebook. So this movie is not one I have seen since I was 5, 6, 7-year-old. Like, it has been a very long time for me. But I remember in college, Dylan one night drunkenly at a party was like, Iron Giant is the best movie I've ever seen. And I was like, what? The kids movie? What do you mean? And since that moment on, I've been like, okay, I got to rewatch this movie. But I won't lie, it took me a long time. I just rewatched it for this podcast.
Yeah. So I have a pretty interesting history with this movie. We can get into it at some point, but I did watch this a bunch as a kid, but I rewatched it. I again haven't tapped in probably 20 years. I don't think I saw it in 1999, but I definitely had the DVD. So I watched it a bunch, but I will say this movie, not how I remember it. This movie
interesting.
This movie pretty deep, man. This is pretty heavy ass movie. Like, this is not a kid's movie.
No, there's stuff for all ages in it. Well, so fill me in then. Why do you love this movie if you're just now realizing the deep meanings of it?
Okay, well, if I jump right into it.
No. I'm not. I'm genuinely curious. I don't know if the story, or like it sounds like you're. If you don't want to talk about something, you don't have to.
Bizarre, do you not know why I'm here? Is this just the Evan bit?
No, I have no idea. I thought you just loved this movie. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. You seem like you're trying to avoid something, and you can. And we can edit this out. Like I don't know what's going on.
No, let's tear the Band-Aid off. So I grew up, way up north, way out in the woods. Not a lot going on.
Yeah.
As a kid, we had 2 DVDs at my house.
Oh, okay.
One was The Notebook, and one was The Iron Giant. So as like a young lad, middle school age Dill, would always like invite a girl over to watch a silly movie.
Stop! I'm sorry.
and we couldn't put on The Notebook because I would risk crying in front of a girl. So instead, I would put on the Iron Giant. So I watched this movie upwards of 20 times.
I understand.
As a high schooler, made out with no less than
bits and
probably
pieces.
5 chicks, and have received no less than 2 HJs watching this movie.
Okay. I'm sorry I asked. You know what? Okay.
So
No wonder this movie isn't how you remember. You've never
love
watched
the Iron
it fully
Giant.
through.
I love the Iron Giant, bro. I'm sick that you didn't know the history of why
so
Evan even
sorry.
asked me to come on, bro.
I had
That's the
no
one
idea.
true bit.
No, I did.
He's a
And the way
subject
we were
matter
talking about it in
expert.
the group text, I should have used context clues. I'm so sorry. Okay, so
So this movie came out in 1999, runtime of 87 minutes, which is incredible. Chef's kiss, made on a budget of 50 million, and this is probably why none of us had seen it in 1999. Box office gross of 31 million, so it was
it
considered a flop, which I didn't know because this is only talked about with such reference.
Yeah.
But I think it took a while for it to accomplish that sort of cult status.
the problem was all these teens were half watching it like Dylan, and then it takes them 20 years after the fact to be like, whoa, this movie's fantastic.
Whatever value you get, you know.
No,
Whatever it
but
takes.
okay, so you made the joke about not wanting to cry during The Notebook. How did this movie actually moved me to tears in the end? Like I said, it's been so long since I've seen it. All I remember is kid meets giant. Did not remember Rachel from Friends being his mother. Did not remember Vin Diesel having the weirdest voice acting career of all time in playing the Iron Giant and then Groot.
Yeah.
Like,
I
absolutely.
still don't believe it. I think they're just saying that. Like, prove it.
Prove
Show
it.
the behind the scenes. I need to see Vin in studio going, tree,
Tree.
rock.
They got the audio
I
from
don't
him
buy it.
first, and they made the movie around Vin Diesel
Yeah.
talking.
I'm not sure I buy it.
Was he big at that time? Like, why is he the voice actor? Why were they like
actually
Vin
so true.
Diesel's? We gotta
What's the
get him
timeline here?
He probably has not blown up yet. He's probably.
before. This is pre Fast and Furious movies.
I'm gonna guess this is pre Fast and Furious.
certain.
Definitely
Has to
not
be.
pre his first action movie though. He's been in quite a few action movies. I will say I looked up though. This is 5 years into Friends though. Like Rachel, I keep calling her that. Jennifer Aniston is not a small get. You know what I mean? She's a big star at this time.
Opposite her, Harry Connick Jr., who is now a judge on American Idol.
Classic. Just playing cartoon Tommy Lee. Like, is that? I couldn't place it for so long, but why is he just literally Tommy Lee? Like,
That's
with
so
this
funny you
little-
said that. I said the dude. They go to the studio. They'll go. We need you to draw the guy from Californication. I don't know his name, but I was like, that's
David Duchovny.
yeah. They're like, draw
Damn.
that guy.
Yeah, I was watching with a friend, and she said David. She was like, "Oh, that's David Duchovny." So shout
Similar
out.
vibe. You were watching with a girl again?
Chill out. Chill out.
You set it up, me, dude. I'm so sorry I asked. I really am. Okay, and so what are we even talking about? Where are we?
Jennifer Aniston is not a small get. She plays the main character's mother.
So
And the main
annoying.
character's Hogarth Hughes, who's voiced by someone I feel like was maybe on the up and up as like a kid actor at the time, but I can't. Eli,
I don't know if he's booked and
Marienthal. Definitely not.
The flop of this movie hurt his career, unfortunately, I'm guessing. So one of the funniest bits of the whole movie was they start the movie and his mom was like, Hogarth, Hogarth, Hogarth. And I was like, what a weird name. And then literally halfway through the movie, the fucking detective, or excuse me, the government agent did the same verbal process I did. He's like, Hogarth, Hogarth. What a weird name. And I was like, I said that maybe 20 minutes ago.
Speaking of the detective, has there been a more obvious voice? Have you ever heard of someone say one syllable and know exactly who it was so fast? Literally go, oh, it's Shooter McGavin. Oh, it's that asshole, and that it's always an asshole and everything. Like I caught that so fast.
Shooter McGavin.
What else?
What is his
he in?
real name?
I'm struggling to find it.
Dylan goes, now you're testing me.
Christopher
I didn't come with
McDonald.
Oh,
Christopher
okay.
McDonald I was gonna
Definitely a
say,
shooter again.
I was like, so I pulled up his picture. And I was like, is that the guy from the villain from Flubber? And it is the villain from Flubber.
Oh my God, yes, it is the villain from Flubber. And
I don't
then
know.
he's also, I feel like he's also the dad in Leave It to Beaver. Just
Yep, 97. Yes.
every prick, dude. They just make this guy like, and he crushed it. Honestly, it worked well. It was good.
For a moment, I thought he was gonna be his stepdad in this movie. When he
Bro.
moved in, I was like, "Whoa, where is this going?"
Yeah. Why don't we rewind a little bit? Like, set the scene. What is the premise of this movie? Where do we start? How do we meet our characters? Zara, do you want to set us up a little bit?
Yeah. So those who were not in our fraternity, Zard is a shortened version of my last name, but it's the last half,
Which is
not the-
short for Zard's glass.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
even shorter for something else completely. So okay, we are in the 1950s, and we're in Maine. I'll be honest, I didn't know that till I looked it up on Wikipedia. I assumed since they were so worried about the Russians that we were on the West Coast, but I was wrong. We're in
Is that
Maine.
what Russia is over there?
Isn't it
Was
that
there
way?
an East Coast, West Coast dichotomy in the Red Scare?
Well, no, but I just assumed like if Russia was gonna launch something, wouldn't it hit our West Coast?
They could wrap around the back.
That would take forever.
I can see Russia from my...
Yeah, I think it's right. It's like touching Alaska. Okay,
I guess
so,
I see that logic.
all right. So I literally thought the whole movie took place in Washington, and then I pull it up on Wikipedia, and they're like Maine. I was like, fuck me. So they're in Maine in the 1950s, and something I really liked about this. So we're gonna start with the long line of compliments I have for this movie. While this takes place in the 1950s, this feels like a very timeless tale. Like there's not really anything dating it. It doesn't need to be in the 1950s. It just, you know what I mean? Like that. It just felt like you could watch this as a kid, you could watch this as an adult, and you're gonna take something probably different, but you're gonna walk away loving this movie.
We first meet Hogarth and his mother, Jennifer Aniston's character, in the diner. We meet a lot of these characters. And one of the things that struck me was like, this is a 90-minute movie. They introduce the characters to us very efficiently. They like throw you right into the setting of the town and the small town life that's in Maine. And that's just like something we don't see in movie. Like it's like a very 90s, which it is a 90s movie, but it's a very 90s movie feel where they just like put you in the action. It's a little like slice of life. It's not like blockbusters these days that are like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's a cameo. Here's this or that. Like, I don't know. Just right off the bat, it puts you right in the action.
Yeah, one thing I would say, like as a counterpoint to what you said, Brizard, is like I get what you mean. That's like the feel. It could be like you watch to the point it could take place at any time. But we can't talk about this movie without just talking about how it couldn't be more the 1950s than anything else. Because the largest theme, which I don't remember at all, is just the Red Scare and the post-Cold War like vibe of America and all like
I don't know,
like fear
I'm
of
still
like
scared
weapons and whatever.
Russia might invade us.
I
So-
feel like that's popping back up. It's coming more like relevant again.
Singular.
So
It's
yeah.
a timeless message, bro. That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I was like, dude, I truly did not remember that being like over like the shadow over this movie at all. And they take it pretty far.
Oh yeah. But then essentially Hogarth is a latchkey kid. You guys like that term? I thought of it during the movie. His mom works. Dylan's so mad. He's like, read a book. So, his mom works at the diner. You know, like Evan said, we very efficiently like. You know, she's working there. It looks good. But then Hogarth gets a call later, and she's like, I gotta work a double again. Like, feed yourself some dinner in the fridge. And you just feel that sort of. She goes, no scary movies, and of course, just as a typical kid, he just eats junk food and watches scary movies.
I loved how he had his Twinkie and then like supercharged it with the whipped cream. Is that a thing people do? I've never seen that before.
Not enough.
I'm very tempted to try.
There's cream in the middle of a Twinkie. You're saying you need more in there?
I want to try
Pump it up.
Yeah. So he's on his own watching scary movies, hears a noise or something, and then he wanders off into the woods to investigate. And that's where he stumbles upon the Iron Giant, which is this 100-foot tall sentient robot.
Question for the room, not to be a noob. Is it Alien?
I believe so.
I did just read something about this where there's like deleted scenes where it's like you see him on a different planet walking with
Ooh.
other robots. So
Did you guys-
they call him an alien. They refer to him as an alien, but like as far as actual backstory, not sure where he came from.
So
Well, I never pictured him as like a planet of other robots. That's adorable.
So I rented this on Amazon, and it was the signature edition, which includes that deleted scene, which was added probably, I don't know, like 10, 15 years later.
I didn't
But
see it.
I think that does confirm that he is alien. Literally, it's a dream sequence, and he's walking among an army of other robots.
Nice.
But it's not in the original cut, which I don't know. I feel like confirming its origin takes away from it a little bit.
But why? Because you like the ambiguity?
Yeah, because in the original, I think it's Brad Bird who directed this, who went on to do the Incredible movies.
You want to know what also Brad Bird directed?
What else? did he
Mission
direct?
Impossible: Ghost Protocol.
Has been on a heater like ever since this, man. We got to
This
shout
was
out
his first
Mr.
movie.
Bird.
This was his
This was
first
his
movie. Then he
first
went on to
movie?
do The Incredibles, and then he was like,
Wow.
"Now I'm tackling Tom Cruise."
Yeah.
Something else big too.
that's interesting.
I read it, but I don't remember. But he's done a bunch of classics.
Has he? I really only
But-
know him from The Incredibles.
Yeah, but in the original cut of the movie, they choose not to like dig into that at all because that's not what the movie is about. And I think, I mean, adding it's fun to see, but ultimately, I don't think it. I think it's like superfluous to the story. Is what I'm trying to get at. So he goes into the woods to investigate and finds this giant thing. He gets tangled up in power lines, and then Hogarth helps him escape by turning off the electrical grid because there's just one very convenient off switch at the power station. Big
Let me
bright
shut down the
letters,
whole power
on,
for the
off.
town. On, off.
And we would get into the dimensions of this movie at some point because they take some serious geometric liberties in this film.
What do you mean?
Okay, this Iron Giant both picks up a tree like it's the size of his pinky finger, but then 2 minutes later is just comfortably sitting in a barn. I was cracking up the whole time. Like they did not care wherever he had to go. Like they put him there. This man is also just walking high above the trees, like through town. They're like, "Where's the Iron Giant?"
Okay, I did
like-
think that was so funny. As I was like, man, I feel like every time he stands up, they should be like, "There, it's there."
Wait,
Yeah, just do one of these.
Yeah.
Like, it's
a
behind me.
quick scan. Well, one scene that caught me off guard, and I was like, "Oh, this shit is so good." Is when he was fixing the train tracks. This giant is walking around taking a munch out of literally anything metal that he could get his hands on. Goes up to the train tracks, picks a big, and then the train starts coming. You know, that's an iconic scene. Hogarth's like, "No, put it back together," and he's like, like, "No, it's fine, it's close enough." And he's like doing literally surgery with these train tracks. You're like, "Oh," and it's like classic buzzer beater. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get away, and everything's gonna be fine. Nope. Train Affleck smashes, derailed. I literally jumped like at that scene. I was like, "Oh no way! Did the train just hit my boy?" Like, so
No, I totally get what you mean, but it also shows like his sort of disposition, like his like careful. I don't know. I really liked that scene. He was like, I gotta get it right. One thing, so you mentioned this Iron Giant's going around munching on metal, and so I had like an existential problem here. I was like, what a weird concept. I was like, this robot made of metal is eating metal, and I was like, that'd be like if we. And I was like, oh, we do eat meat. I was like, oh, we do eat meat.
Did it change your perspective? Are you going to change your
Am I-
diet?
no, it looked good. It made me want to eat metal, if anything. I was like, oh, the Iron Giant looks like he's eating good. I should try some of that. Okay, we get to a very interesting part, and this is, I think, indication that this thing is alien. The train discombobulates the whole Iron Giant, fucking throws them all over the place, and they all just pop up like a little antenna, and they're like, doop, 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 and they cartoonishly hop back to each other and reform. And I was like, damn, those Russians got some good technology, because at this point I wasn't sure it was alien.
So they're in the woods for a bit, but they're like, as they're going to head back, he remembers his pal, Harry Connick Jr., and they decide, he's like, oh, there's hella food in the junkyard, and my boy is chill, so, like, let's tap in over the junkyard.
Let's
And-
stop by. See what he's doing.
And of course, it goes smooth. Because why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it go chill?
I have a question. This, I think, is a common trope in movies, but should people not be concerned of a stranger adult befriending a child? Like, he doesn't know his mother. They're not family friends. He's hanging
Not
out
yet.
with them. Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, hey, it's
Different-
the 90s, baby.
Yeah. Could you imagine that mom being like, oh, how did you meet your husband? Oh, my 8-year-old son introduced us.
After he took his pants off in the restaurant. Like, oh, yeah, no, it's chill. It's cool. It's
He's
cool.
the guy who took his pants off in the restaurant, Mom. Yeah.
It's a different time in that this movie was made in the 90s and is about the 50s. But that time gap is also almost the same time gap as us talking about this movie being made in the 90s. Maybe another decade. And
One
it's
more decade and
equidistant,
we're,
but-
and we're pushing it. But yeah, that is
Yeah.
crazy. But so no, you're right. It is. It's like in the 90s how they were making that 70s show. It is interesting. They're looking at it from a different perspective.
But that is weird though, because one, his friendship with Dean, that's his name,
Dean.
Harry Connick Jr.'s character. But also two, when the government guy comes to town and just bunks with them, why is he invited to the home? I didn't.
They rented. I had to rewind because I was like, why is he living here? And the mom goes, oh, isn't it good, Hogarth? We finally rented out that room. So they've been trying to rent out a room. The dialogue's tight, man. This is how they kept it under 90 minutes. In a lesser movie, we see her hanging up like room for sale signs. You know what I mean? There's a whole scene.
But I do think this begs the question. It's not a question. I'm just using phrases. Can we talk about how they just made the mom like the biggest bird on earth? Like, this shit is so wild. That's how you know this movie's from the 90s, because they just didn't even put 1 ounce of work into the mom's character.
No.
She invites this dude into their house, and clearly they have some kind of weird vibe, because why don't they? And then, not to skip ahead, but then she just ends up with the other guy. It's like, dude, anyone that walks past, they're like, oh, that's her love interest. I'm like, bro, she's like a pretty bad mom and not that attentive, and also like just a floozy. Like, what? Why did they do this to this woman? This was my read. I was like,
They gave her a little bit of characterization when they all go to the junkyard and she's critiquing his art pieces. She's like, all that stuff looks slapped onto the Iron Giant. I like some of these pieces. They have
had
more character.
similar interests, Dylan. Okay, but
Yeah.
she
You
was
weren't paying
flirting.
attention.
No, that she was flirting, bro.
it's like when a girl gets into basketball for her guy. Yeah, no, I got
It's
you.
like when a girl pretends to really love Iron Giant.
Whoa, dude. Chill out, dude.
Okay,
I told you that in confidence on a podcast.
So the one thing with her too, the opening scene, they're in the power plant, and he's like, Mom, there's a giant in the power plant. You gotta come see it. And she's like, I don't have any time for this. You're 7, whatever Hogarth is. You think you convince your mom to take the extra 30 steps to go check to see the giant? Because like the whole movie's over if he like is able to be like, no, you have to see this. Like, I'm not getting in the car.
Yes.
I think I convinced my mom.
Yeah.
I wore my mom
I'm
down
getting
to
my mom.
yeah, I wore my mom down for a lot of different things. I think I'd be like, no, come check this out.
At the very least, to retrieve his little BB gun.
Smart.
One of the sequences I really like is the hand of the Iron Giant that is removed. He's trying to hide it, sneak it around the house, and then that's where Christopher McDonald's character introduces himself.
Mr. Manley.
Is that his name, Mr. Manley?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Agent Manley.
What arm of the government do you think he would be? Because he never says.
He's got like a coy. He's like, I can't tell you what branch of the government I work for. Well, his line where he's like, if I told you, I'd be decommissioned or whatever. I don't even remember what he says. I mean, it's got to be the FBI, right?
Yeah, keep in mind, this is pre 9/11, so they pretty much had the one agency at that point. This is not too many options. They weren't all that worried about stuff. Yeah, I purchased the FBI at large, probably, I would say. It'd be my vote.
You know what? It is so the FBI's motive to just try to kill their problems. You know, like they're just like assassinate it, fucking take them out, kill the Iron Giant.
So one of my other favorite parts is how it's just like, Manley, we need evidence. This thing took a bite out of a fucking car, bro.
Not enough evidence. Your boss is like,
Send him a picture of the car, bro. There's a bite taken out of it.
Well,
Yep,
he
okay.
eats the rest of the car.
this is a 50. So What do you mean send him a picture? You gonna like use the U.S. Postal
Draw him a
Service?
picture. That's so true. Wow, I forgot they didn't have Instagram.
Couldn't DM it to him.
Did they have instant Polaroids though? Like the
No,
the
he had to do it
photos
in the
that-
dark room.
was there literally a dark room scene?
Well, it was in the bathroom.
there was a-
And I thought the mom was legit gonna spoil the photo, and I was like, "Oh, classic! He's not gonna get this photo he needs." But being like, "Are you
and then
okay in there?"
he finds the selfie, yeah? He
finds
finds the
the
selfie of Hogarth and the giant. He
Is
goes,
that the-
gotcha, Hogarth. Could the Iron Giant thrive in a post-social media era? My column.
But so yeah, I mean, we're glossing over it because a lot of it is just like, but like they become besties. You know what I mean? It's very man befriends wild animal, though, if that makes any sort of sense. Man, now that we're thinking about it, it's kind of like man befriends an alien. Now it makes it. I'm connecting these dots. It's definitely
This movie to
definitely
me,
alien.
this movie to me is E.T.
Oh yeah,
Just
it's very
animated.
E.T.
Never seen E.T. Is
that a joke?
Is that a big deal? No, I've never seen E.T.
I don't know that I've seen the whole thing, to be honest.
There we go.
Okay, it's a classic. I mean, but ready for this? You haven't seen it, but you nailed the plot. This is very E.T.
This podcast is supported by Lumina. Lumina is an AI-powered webcam that makes you look good on every video call. 4K resolution, adaptive color correction, autofocus and bokeh so you get that nice blur in the background, and of course my favorite feature, the AI cameraman that follows you around the frame to keep you centered at all times. Zhuzh up your video calls and stop looking like dog doo-doo with Lumina. You can use promo code 2dudes for 10% off your purchase at getlumina.com. That's code TWO dudes at getlumina.com. Back to the podcast.
Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah.
You know, we're dancing around it. Let's get into the deep philosophical lessons this
Yeah.
movie throws at us.
Yeah, there's a pivotal scene. Obviously, I think the turning point of the movie is when they're in the woods and they see the hunter, and they see, which is again, there's a lot of references in this movie. Like it's just like, is it a Bambi reference or like,
Seems like it.
is it like a blatant? It's like it
was
literally
a-
seems like the footage from Bambi.
It was a ripoff for sure.
And also, did the raccoon from Pocahontas also makes a cameo?
I missed that one.
In the
I'm
flood
pretty
scene?
sure. But yes, precisely. But so they witness this deer get shot by these hunters, and the giant goes from being, he's considered what, a weapon or an alien or whatever, and he gets pretty bummed
Yeah.
about this deer. And that's when Hogarth takes some time to explain to him, like, well, it's not okay. It's not okay to kill, but it is okay to die, which
Yeah, because
what the oh my god, bro. That's like the most profound shit that's ever been said. Actually, I don't know what it means precisely, but like that's a banger, bro.
I totally get it, because the giant is really struggling, because if you remember, it tried to like pick the deer up, kind of like it was like a Simba moment with his dad, like, come on, and he was like upset about the whole thing because the giant didn't understand, because I mean, realistically, the giant is not going to die if you're, Hogarth was like, well, you're metal. He goes, you do think and feel, though. And he's like, that means you have a soul, and souls never die. That was another one that fucking got me. I was like, damn, that's so fucking good. Like I said, I just think it was important to contextualize, like, the hunters did the wrong thing here. The deer did nothing wrong. Everyone dies, and that was when the giant literally was like, oh, you die? He's like, well, yeah, eventually.
I think it's Brad Bird who's quoted as saying, like, part of the pitch for this movie is like, what if a gun didn't want to be a gun anymore? Or like,
No, because
and that's his whole struggle, the Iron Giant's whole struggle.
No, it is a sweet idea, but when you put it like that, it sounds pretty fucking stupid. But like, dude, no, this really does become the emotional through line of the entire movie. Obviously, this alien that has been, misused or characterized for its power and destruction against its will, and you're watching him become like more of a sentient being with feelings and shit, and it is really powerful stuff.
It is.
In the context of this silly little movie.
Okay, I found the quote, marginally less stupid than what I just said. This was part of his pitch, though, was what if a gun had a soul and didn't want to be a gun?
I think I like yours more. What's really great is this gets into like themes of life, death, and a little bit of morality.
The
But
soul.
what's really nice is the soul part of it, because like it's very Dr. Frankenstein makes the monster that he's like, you're alive. Like, what is life? If so, just because someone put together this robot, is the Iron Giant not alive? But Hogarth begs the question, doesn't even contemplate the existential problems with what he's saying, but he says, you think, you feel, that means you have a soul. And I was like, okay, if that's the
How old is
criteria.
Hogarth? Because that's pretty profound shit. Is he like 7? What is he?
Yeah, he's young. He's like 7 or 8.
He's young. I guess he also
Yeah, he's
skipped
quite
the
young.
grade.
But that's part of like what kids like, they say like the simple, most honest truth, right? Like, isn't
No, he's got it young, because if he was any older, he wouldn't be able to probably like say some shit
he'd
like
say,
that. Like,
you're
so
a robot,
profoundly.
so no. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned in class. No, I'm just kidding.
He's one of those kids.
Robots
My
don't
teacher
have
said,
souls.
yeah.
When is Jennifer Aniston's single mother character have the time to be having these discussions with Hogarth?
That's true.
He's been reading
We're
Plato.
struggling with rent this month, but this is what a soul is. Here's morality.
Here's what's right and
Yeah.
wrong. But that's part of what I think makes it so touching, is because, like, I think if you're watching this as a kid, you're just like, yes. But as an adult, we're able to be like, whoa, what a wildly profound and impactful statement. You know what I mean? When anyone can view it and get different meanings from it.
Inevitably, then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. Another thing, before we get to like the actual climax of it, just speaking of the size of the Iron Giant, there's a part where he's in town and he's literally taller than every single building. And so you got me really questioning the tree, him grabbing the tree like a
Yeah.
pencil versus the tree in the barn versus at town.
He's like 3 times the size of the buildings when
Yeah.
they look at him in the rear view mirror from a couple miles away, like when the military is driving
But
away.
when he's in town, I don't actually think he's taller than any building, like when they're all in town. So it's just that one shot of him towering over the city.
That barn would be Mount Kilimanjaro, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Be fucking for real. Anyway, I thought it was funny. It's, hey, movie magic, baby. Just do whatever. It's
I
classic.
didn't question it. It's so great. No, it's so funny now that you say that. Before hell breaks loose plot wise, I do love when Vin Diesel goes "Cowabunga," jumps in the pool and creates a tidal wave, and the town is still like, where is the Iron Giant?
I'm having the time of his life in the woods.
Oh, well, we totally missed. The Iron Giant has brain damage? Concussion? What are we calling this little dent in its head?
I guess that would be a concussion. Was that from the train?
I didn't think it was. I thought it was from landing on Earth, but it's probably from the train.
I don't know. We'll have
But
to go.
when it fixes itself, when it unconcusses, it becomes, weapon of mass destruction. And this is where the movie, I was like, oh, this is a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, but at what cost?
We missed Hogarth once again teaching him right and wrong is like, you're not a villain. You always use your powers for good. And he teaches him our good buddy Superman lessons. I don't know why. Do you have to get the rights from DC to do that? Like, can you just say Superman in anything and that's fine?
It's a Warner Brothers movie, so they maybe had the rights.
You're right. You're right.
already.
They have the rights.
Were we really worried about IP like that?
I was.
In 1999?
Oh, I was.
You were?
In 1999 specifically, I was so worried about it. No, but as soon as it popped up, I was like, wow, can you just like make a movie and like reference Superman so casually like that? But I do think Evan's right. I think the studio actually has the rights to both.
That's honestly so infuriating to me. Like, why? You should be able to just say the word Superman.
I don't think you
The
can.
I guess the name.
Yeah,
like
the name's
now?
trademarked and shit. So
Yeah.
I think I really don't think you'd be able to. But no, it is owned by the same studio. But I thought that was such a nice touch because as we discussed in whatever order, maybe future, maybe in the past, about Superman, he is the beacon of, he's the first superhero. He's the beacon of hope. And, this is what the Iron Giant chooses to attach to. It's just really cute. And it's I don't want to say childlike, but it's like, it's the optimism that really only a child can inspire like that.
He's a pretty brave dude, too. He
Hogarth?
stared down the cannon, bro.
Oh.
He says, You are not a gun, bro. Everyone gets to choose who they are.
Talk about trust between the two. He literally stared a plasma cannon in the face. Also, like I said, this took like a real sci-fi turn. Like, he's got his own sort of beam. He had like a laser beam, but then he switched it up and it was like, let me shoot this green ball that, boom! Like, I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Where is the mythos? I'm shocked, WB didn't do like a cartoon series of Iron Giant in space.
Yeah.
It's coming, bro. You didn't hear? A 9-part movie fucking series. Iron Giant Strikes Back. Iron Giant, the return of the Iron Giant King.
He's still out there as like a piece of IP, though. He was in Ready Player One. The Iron Giant was. I haven't seen it, so I don't know to what extent. But he's also
no extent. It's a background.
in Space Jam 2. He's in that world.
So they recognize that he's popular.
He's in the Warner Brothers. They're like fighting game Multiversus as a playable character. So,
Whoa,
I think
he's coming.
Something's. I don't know. Maybe.
Honestly, I was just being an asshole, but I'm here for it. I changed my mind. They should do that. Reboot the Iron Giant.
Do you want a live action or do you want another animated one?
What do you mean live action?
What, like a human playing Hogarth? And Vin Diesel and Vin Diesel in an iron suit.
You had me fucking under the ocean picturing live action Iron Giant. Like, it's real? Yeah. You know me as someone who hates cartoons. I would definitely choose live action.
Dylan, is this the first thing that we've covered that you've actually watched? Because you famously
Yes,
listened to
more or
all of our
less.
episodes.
He watched Encanto. He was on the podcast.
That's true.
I get whatever the joke he's going for. Dylan listens to every single episode of our podcast and rarely has watched whatever we're talking about. He's a real
I'm
one.
just a fan of you guys, bro. I'm just a fan of you guys.
We're a fan of you as well.
Dude, I've been receiving. I'm like on a heater of shout outs, bro. Just thank you, Broussard.
Yeah.
Always name dropping me for the value of no one or nothing. But I'm listening, so I appreciate you shouting me out.
Yeah, I know you're there. Okay. But so
We love our listeners.
we do. Weapon of mass destruction. Oh yeah, Hogarth stares him in the face and is like, "You are the one that can choose." And I really like the visual difference of Red Eyes is like he's in rage mode and then he like snaps out of it and he's back to being goofy Vin Diesel.
That's pretty weird because it's the opposite with you, Broussard.
What do you mean?
When you have red eyes, you're very sweet jolly mode.
It's the best joke we've had on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We peaked. We peaked. That was too good.
Sometimes you get lucky with one, man.
Oh man.
All right, okay. So
So the climax of the movie, it gets pretty freaking dark at the end.
They
They're
nuke him.
facing nuclear holocaust in this small town, and the Iron Giant chooses to sacrifice himself and goes to head off the nuclear missile.
What did we think of Mansley calling the strike on the city and the general having to be like, the Iron Giant's standing right next to us, you idiot?
bro, he goes out like a bitch.
He goes,
bro.
I don't want to die.
such-
He goes, yeah, the general goes, wait, you're right. The general goes, we're going to die for our country, sir. He goes, screw that. I don't want to die. And tries to like get out of there, a la like that douche from Titanic who's like women and children. And then he like grabs a random kid.
Yeah. Also, that is funny. Like, we're doing the bit of like, all you had to do is turn around and look, forgetting that's literally what they fucking do at the end.
It is.
They're driving off, and he goes, he goes, Mans like, bro, look. They turn around and go, oh, there's a big fucking giant.
I almost thought it was going to be like slapstick. And they're like, we're tired of listening to you, Mansley. And they keep driving for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
like they
He's just
don't
like-
look.
He just freezes.
Yeah, he freezes for a second. More modern art.
Mansley has like 3 car accidents in this movie. I guess the first one's not really an accident, but it's his car getting chomped by the Iron Giant. Then he gets sandwiched between the military caravan when they all turn around to look at the Iron Giant. And then when he's trying to drive away at the end and the Iron Giant blocks him head on into that.
Yeah.
He must be concussed.
You know what that
if
means?
anything.
Live action Iron Giant.
Yeah.
But
Miles
Mansley
Teller.
played by Miles Teller.
Oh my God, king of the car accidents.
What? Yeah. What is that? What was it called? Spider something?
Spider face.
The one where he
Spider
flies
head?
out the
Oh,
windshield.
spider head. Yeah.
That was intense. Dude.
That shit is so funny, man. That man cannot stop crashing his goddamn car. Anyway,
Yeah, no, it's got to be him in the live action. You've sold me. So, we get the I love this part where the nuke. Also, interesting trajectory for the nuke. I never once would have thought like so up and then so down. I'm always picturing more like a I don't know. It was crazy to me. But so they launched the nuke into the air and the Iron Giant was like, "Don't follow me," like Hogarth did like earlier. I don't have the same cadence Vin Diesel does, maybe that's why he got paid the big bucks for it. But he was like, "Don't follow," and then he fucking flies off into space. And there's a moment earlier where he's like, "You can fly."
I'll be honest. When he's like, Hogarth, you stay.
That's what he
And he's
says.
about to looks up. He's about to fly off. Hogarth goes, "I love you," and I almost cried. I literally,
It's so cute.
I choked up.
it was almost
Like,
shocking.
Tears
Though. Yeah.
formed.
I agree,
It's
Dylan.
incredible.
I don't know why it caught me off guard a little.
Also, he
Yeah.
didn't say it back. I was like, bro.
Say
I was
it
like,
back.
we didn't get to that step in like our social or like our conversational practice. But yeah, dude, that shit comes out of left field. I was like,
Yeah.
I love you. He's like, bro, that was powerful, man. I was like, oh my god. Also, don't. But okay. Either way, it's cute. It's
Yeah.
cute.
So it was a box office flop. Went on to achieve this cult status. It's widely revered as one of the best animated movies
Yeah.
of all time.
I get why.
It's 90 minutes, and none of it's wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it's like so earnestly optimistic, so earnestly about love and morality. And it's like
Anti-war, anti-gun,
anti-war,
anti-violence.
anti-gun. Yeah, like all of these things. It's not veiled. It's not cracking jokes. And that's not to say there aren't funny moments in this. Like,
I think the NRA kept this movie down. They knew it would it would brainwash a whole generation to be anti-gun.
Shit like that be happening, bro.
That's what I'm
Don't make me
saying.
bring up the golden
Conspiracy.
compass. I'll bring up the golden compass for no reason. But
Wait, am I missing a conspiracy theory? What do you mean?
oh well, I mean the golden compass is like very anti-church, and they
Oh.
stifled that movie. Anyway, we can cut this shit out too.
Evan, I think that was very nice closing thoughts that you gave. So I'm going to retroactively make that your closing thoughts here. Dylan,
That's fine.
what are your closing thoughts on the movie before we wrap up here?
Last time with Encanto, I just used this time to make yet another inappropriate joke, so I will not do the same. But yeah, shout out to Iron Giant, man. As Evan was saying, like it's just such an earnest movie. Like I don't even think of this as a kid's movie; it's just a movie about a kid. There's
great way to put it.
and this is the kind of movie that they just would never give a shit to make these days, because these themes we're talking about like real important emotional themes, and it's so genuine, so earnest, and there's no frills. The other thing that was weird, like I mean, you mentioned it was 90 minutes, like this movie did not feel short. I was like, oh cool, it's 86 minutes.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, this shit is still going. I was like, look, there's 20 minutes left. I was like, I've been watching this for 42 minutes. It was just a fully realized and like really brings you in. And also, never mind. I don't even have it in me.
You're good.
I don't even have it in me. Watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Shout out to Iron Giant. That's my dog.
Yeah, I think what's a great part about this podcast is we do get to revisit these type of things that I probably wouldn't have watched again. But this movie is literally top of the line from like you both were saying, no frills, like no excess. It's very robust. I think when you were speaking, Dylan, there is so much that happens in a short amount of time, and it just like a lot happens, but not a lot happens too. It's this beautiful relationship. I really like what you said, Dylan. It's not a kid's movie. It's just a movie about a kid. I think that's like really the best way to put it. And this is a movie that, besides the giant iron robot, like this isn't a movie that relied on being like animated. It wasn't like there was many moments it could go like Looney Tunes ish, like hiding the Iron Giant behind a tree, or it had a little of that, but it did not like rely on that to be the plot of the movie. Like we were saying, how it almost doesn't matter that it's of alien origin. It makes it better that you don't know. If you don't think about how he's hiding this Iron Giant, it makes the movie a lot better. So, it is something that I think if you have not watched in a long time, really good to revisit, because I was entertained from start to finish. And like Evan said, I got teary-eyed at the end.
So it is, widely revered now. And part of it flopping is, they talk about it on the Wikipedia, is like Warner Brothers just had essentially no marketing plan for this. Like when it got time to release it, they're like, oh, we don't have any serial tie-ins or any so I think they just fumbled the bag all around with this movie. It had a budget of 50 million, made less than that, but its budget was significantly smaller than any like Disney equivalent at the time, because this followed Quest of Camelot, which was like a box office underperformer in their terms. So Brad Bird says that it was like half the budget, half the timeline to make this movie. And weirdly enough, it's incredible, not because of those reasons, but in spite of those reasons. Probably their most highly revered movie of all time.
He just goes for it, man.
Yeah.
That's what they don't do with movies anymore. He goes for it. He's like, I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to make a cartoon about fucking communism.
Yeah.
And they don't do that shit anymore, man.
No, you're right.
And make it super earnest, and then I'm gonna make you fucking cry because a little boy tells a suspiciously sized giant that he loves him in the end. So yeah, shout out Brad Bird. I looked it up. He went on to make Ratatouille.
Oh,
No
classic.
way. I didn't know that.
He's got that Pixar in him. Wow, that was great.
Famously known from wait, why can't I think of it? From Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, yeah.
Then went on to
Ratatouille.
inspire Ratatouille,
That's funny.
the greatest character of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would you guys give it on a scale of 5 stars? I'll go first. I'm giving it 5 stars. And I think
Wow.
that's the first 5 I've given.
That is definitely the first 5 you've given.
It's a perfect movie.
I think it's a 5, bro.
You're going 5 as well? Oh my God, not the peer pressure.
First of all, I've only watched 5 cartoons. 1 through 4 is taken, so 5 is the only slot I have left. This is the best. This is the best of the 5, so it's a 5-star for me, bro.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna give it 4.5. I feel it's great. It is very close to being a perfect movie, if not a perfect movie.
Nice.
Fuck it, I'll give it a
All right.
5. You guys convinced me.
Give it a 5. This is
There it is,
Doesn't
bro.
may take much to twist my arm.
all right. What do you got as far as news, Alex?
Okay. First bit of news. Our boy Guillermo del Toro, Pinocchio. They won an Oscar. Thought it was big news. I was excited for them.
I'm happy for Guillermo. Well deserved. I was kind of rooting for Puss in Boots, though.
How did I know you were gonna say that? I was rooting for Pinocchio. I think if we're talking about like perfect movies, that is one that I thought was perfect. Go ahead.
I was obviously rooting for Marcel the Shell,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That was in there, right?
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
in
ready
there.
for this. I don't think I haven't seen it. I know that's I know. I'm sorry.
How dare you not see a cartoon, bro?
I know. Well, ready for this? I think if Marcel the Shell is in the animated category, I think Avatar also should have been in the animated category. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I don't think it should be in the best
I
picture.
follow. I'm following that. While we're on the topic of the Oscars, Jamie Lee Curtis, Best Supporting Actress, deserved?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, especially for that performance. Fun performance, good performance, but
If this was an Oscars pod, you could get me going, bro, because I actually pay a lot of attention to the Oscars. I'm sure you guys
News.
do as well. But that's a career award, and you got to give it to her because it's probably the best chance. So,
No.
like, I have no qualms with it.
Now-
Did she specifically deserve it this year in a vacuum? Hell no, bro.
Yeah.
But the other chick from Everything Everywhere All at Once had my vote. I know, Evan, you felt
There
different.
was-
issue.
There was a
I gonna
girl
say-
in the same movie as Jamie Lee Curtis who had way more screen time and literally stole the show, in my opinion. So that was a snub.
You want to
ready
talk
for
about
this?
crying at a movie, bro.
Talking about crying in a movie. I also thought, is her name Stephanie from The Whale? I actually was kind of rooting for her. I thought she was amazing.
I haven't seen The Whale.
Does the whale slap?
Oh, The Whale was amazing. Oh my God, you guys haven't seen The
gotta tap
Whale?
in.
Oh,
Haven't seen The Whale.
Been bad.
I think that's actually a hot take. I think people may roast me
think it
for it.
is.
I know
think
there's a lot of
people-
backlash about it.
It's a divisive
but
movie.
I actually have never like ugly cried in a movie before, like in a movie theater. Like I was the guy who was like, I needed a moment to like catch myself. Yeah, it was really great. Brendan Fraser, very deserved.
Yeah.
But my last bit of news that I have here, they are making a remake of the Flintstones. And it's an adult comedy series set 2 decades after it, so it's called Bedrock. And some of the cast is pretty interesting. It's got Elizabeth Banks. It's got the guy from Barry/Dodgeball. We could play dodgeball. And it's got Joe Trugolo. Is that his name? Does it rhyme?
Whoa, why you gotta bring him up today, bro?
Why you don't like?
I'm sorry.
Dylan's
No,
celebrity looks like.
that's what people say. That's my fucking celebrity look like, because all my friends are dickheads.
It wasn't me.
So fucking mean, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, but so Evan said it best. He goes, "Did we not learn from Velma?"
Bro,
Who needs that? Who
sounds
wants it?
ass.
Not to bring us back to it, but I think Angela Bassett deserved Best Supporting this year. in that
Oh yeah, she
category.
was up for it too. Yeah, you're right. She should have got it over Jamie Lee Curtis. Also, that's what I'm saying. Is I think there was 3 deserving people more than Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And that knocks out the career award concept as well.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
She's right there, and she was acting her ass off, bro. She kind of stole
That
she
movie.
stole the show with some of her scenes.
You're right.
For real. Shout out Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dylan, did we watch that together? Black Panther 2 in theaters? I feel like
Yes,
I was gonna say.
yes, for sure. That's the one where the man had little fish feet fucking flopping around.
Yeah, you
flying
got it.
around
Yeah, that's the
town.
one.
that's why I was giving a hand job during that movie.
Yes. We're gonna have to rate this podcast triple X. Oh my god, I'm so
I
sorry.
asked Evan before. I said, bro, are we going there?
I didn't
And
know.
Evan said, duh.
I swear to you, Dylan, I did not know. I was not like.
I thought you were setting me up
No.
at the beginning. I was like, you really want to talk about HJ's
No, I'm
off?
so sorry.
bro?
I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Classic though. Okay, let's wrap up here. I don't-
News for Dylan personally.
Oh.
Jamal Williams, the Detroit Lions player who famously loves anime, has been traded to the Saints.
yeah.
That's,
That's
a
true.
tragedy
Not
for me
traded.
as an anime fan, and I'm sure a tragedy for you as a Lions fan, Dylan.
Yeah.
How are you
Yeah, I know
coping?
that. Honestly, was pretty bummed. The thing about being a fan of anything is just fickle as hell because they signed someone else and now you just love that guy.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I was like, okay, whatever, it's the business, But then I was like, damn, that means he's never coming on TDWC, bro. Now it's going to be way harder to get him on TDWC,
right.
bro.
We don't have
So,
the way.
We've
So
tried.
yeah, that's tough.
I respond
Dylan,
to his
you-
stories from the few dudes ago.
Did you say you had something you wanted to mention before we sign off?
Yeah, one last thing, guys. If you need, this is this is downtown Dale's bit of the day. If ever you wake up in the morning, you're super hungover, you say, and someone asks you if you're gonna do anything or get out of bed, you say, "Sorry, I'm still coming together like the Iron Giant, piece by piece." Absolutely kills 1 out of every 100 people on Earth. So go ahead and use that.
At your leisure, ladies and gentlemen, that's a great one. Make sure you write that down. Rewind if you have to. Make sure you get it right. Okay, so thank you for listening. If you are loving our podcast and are looking, if you are loving our podcast and looking for extra ways to support, we do have a support the pod tab in our social media links. Thank you for being here. If you want more Two Dudes, please check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube as well. Please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. And, make sure you hit that like button wherever you're listening to us at. And like I said, like the Iron Giant, we piece this podcast together piece by piece.
Dylan, do you want to plug anything? Dilly Reads?
Nope, I don't got shit, bro. Send me a text, guys.
Hey, thank you for
Send me a
coming,
text.
Dylan. This was so much fun. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Love you.
Proud of you guys and all your success, man. We'll tap
Thank
in
you.
soon, bro.
We will catch you next time. That'll do it for this episode of the podcast.
Two dudes watch cartoons.